Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you how deeply touched I was to be asked and how proud I am to join you this evening for my first event as the new and rather amateur patron of World Jewish Relief. Now, as many of you may know, however, my relationship with this marvelous organization goes back quite a few years, as Nigel Leighton was mentioning, to 2002, when I just returned from an official visit to Krakow. And during that visit, I was sitting in a cafe, can you believe it, with some elderly Jewish residents, the last remnants of a once flourishing Jewish community from before the war, who told me how much they worried that with increasing infirmity and no place where they could gather, their stories, friendships, and community risked simply withering away. It occurred to me that a community center might be the answer, and so I asked my many Jewish friends who on earth might be able and willing to help. Almost to a man and woman, eyes turned towards World Jewish Relief, and how right they were. And I cannot tell you how proud I was, therefore, to return to Krakow with my darling wife a few years later, in 2008, to open the center. And since then, I am so pleased it has been the huge success we all hoped it would be. Now counting 608 members, and I thought 90,000, but the director tells me it's 100,000 annual visitors who frequently express their admiration that such a vibrant Jewish community has re-established itself in a place that witnessed such unspeakable loss and desecration during the darkest days of the 20th century. The Krakow project tells in microcosm why I think World Jewish Relief is such a vital organization, and why I am so touched that everyone here this evening either is involved or is interested in becoming involved. It is about doing things, not just about talking about them. It is about supporting local communities with what they feel they need, and not about imposing solutions from outside. Above all, it is about mobilizing the resources of one community to help not only those from amongst the global Jewish community who are in desperate need, but also other people, irrespective of their faith. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've always thought that our own particular faith is something that empowers and liberates us, not something that constrains us. That is why in my own life, I have always tried to reach across the boundaries of faith and community, to extend a helping hand wherever one might be needed. This was probably ingrained in me at an early age, partly due, I suspect, to my grandmother, Princess Alice of Greece, who had courageously sheltered a Jewish family in her apartment in Athens during the Nazi occupation, and who, incidentally, is buried righteous among the nations in Jerusalem, where I was so grateful to be able to visit her grave on the Mount of Olives during my recent visit to Israel for the funeral of the late President Shimon Peres. But I think my efforts to reach across the boundaries of faith and community may also have been partly due to the fact that the school I went to in the 1960s in Scotland was founded by a remarkable Jewish emigre from Germany, Dr. Kurt Hahn, And I well recall being taught at school by several Jewish refugees who had fled from Germany with Dr. Hahn in the 1930s. I have forgotten neither their wisdom nor their dignity. And this is also why I have such a strong admiration and respect for others who help in this way, such as the late lamented Lord Weidenfeld, who never forgot how Quakers had helped him to escape from Nazi Germany, and who, even late into his life, facilitated the evacuation and resettlement of Iraqi Christians from Mosul, fleeing the barbarism of Daesh. So the determination of World Jewish Relief to help those in need, regardless of their faith, is one reason why I have long been drawn to it. It seems to me that in reaching beyond your own community, you set an example for us all of true compassion and true friendship. Apart from a whole range of humanitarian projects, such as the long-term efforts to help struggling and impoverished Jewish families in the Ukraine, World Jewish Relief is currently working with people who have fled Syria and are now seeking to establish new lives in Greece, Turkey, and here in the United Kingdom. The charity also supports young agricultural entrepreneurs in Rwanda, where people tragically share with the Jewish community a first-hand knowledge of the evils of genocide. And in this way, World Jewish Relief shows us how vital it is to learn lessons from the horrors of the past. Now, when I arrived here this evening, I had the great pleasure of speaking to Ben Helfgott, a wonderful man whom I first met through my patronage of the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust. Ben, as you might know, survived the horrors of the Buchenwald concentration camp. He is a man of extraordinary grace and strength, as you would expect from someone who captained the British weightlifting team at the Olympics in 1956 and in 1960. To meet Ben and others who, like him, have endured indescribable persecution is to be reminded of the danger of forgetting the lessons of the past. The work of World Jewish Relief enables us to rally together, to do what we can to support people practically, emotionally, and spiritually, particularly at a time when the horrific lessons of the last war seem to be in increasing danger of being forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be more delighted by my long association with World Jewish Relief, or more proud to be with you here this evening as its patron. I need hardly say that your wonderfully generous support makes the whole difference to their crucial work with those most in need around the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.